It's 7:19 p.m. out here. Very quiet. Same old view. It's pretty cool just to just be on top of here. I'm paying like $40 a night or something like that. That's cheap as hell, man. When I think about it, that's not even like the $300 place. So just imagine what's on top of there. So overall, like I said, you know, Feds had nothing on me, or got nothing on me. I try not to play the race card, but simply because of the fact that, they came at me with the race card in Europe, like non-stop. I had to play it, and put it in the place, because, it's white people, they bitch about anything that we black folks do. So, I love throwing the race thing in the face because, it's well deserved. So, it's well deserved. It's like they can't even touch me on that. So, they go off and they cry to other black people who are their friends to support them. And whatever they've been butthurt. One black guy does not love us. So all we do is some shit like that. It's just what, you think that I'm gonna fucking love you after what your fucking father did to get into my business and try to throw me in prison simply because he saw me get a few slices of bread from the government to compensate me for my fucking the shit that I went through to warfare and all that garbage. And then come after me to try to destroy me, to my life simply without fucking comment or even visiting Tijuana, stuff like that. It's just that is just so fucking crazy to even think that this garbage even happened. Well, they leaked my personal information, all that type of shit, as if I raped a baby or something like that. And then when they couldn't even touch me, they come after me with the dumbest fucking thing you can ever think of, copyright infringement. This is so fucking retarded. And then after they pulled that shit on me, constantly digging through my file, and looking for anything, while at the same time, I resigned from the position, and they constantly follow me around and try to drive me insane and do all that crazy shit that fucks with you psychologically, and even try to euthanize you in the process. After all that shit, you think I'm gonna find some sort of fucking forgiveness or love in my heart for that? I said, I'm not an angel. I'm not Jesus. I'm not the devil. I'm just a human being. In my case, I was done wrong by the system. When, the system had nothing on me or even nothing in my business. The system literally invaded my fucking privacy. And as they were doing it, they do it in such a fucking unprofessional way where, they leak your information out. At the same time, they try to, ridicule you in public to obtain the support, so they could keep on breaking the law and doing all sorts of shit, getting people hurt and killed, stealing your information and making money off of it, and then claiming that because of the government is compensating you for your injuries and other things, you belong to the government. that's fucking crazy. I try to not even think about that, but after going through all that shit, being put naked on camera, and then distribute that shit with the news and all that, they still try to crack, they still try to look down on you, all that garbage, all while they try to make you love them as if you owe them some shit. I'm just you just fucking ruined my fucking day on that day when you came in, and I noticed that you tried to come in to come after me of a fucking false accusation of fraud, simply because I happen to be young and single. I don't have a family to raise, and that I just do some things behind the scenes that are highly illegal, especially going to Mexico and just chilling there. That's illegal. There's nothing illegal about that shit. And then try to flag all sorts of fucking slander, all sorts of shit you can imagine, just to try to disrupt me. When they can't get that, they try to go around, try to get me arrested, try to get me in problems with the streets and so many shit, take my comments and just purposely spread that to the community, and for 2 full fucking years, keep track of it and amplify it and never letting it go, and just abusing the network, the Navy network, constantly, simply because your old ass is jealous of my shit. And like I said, I wasn't even paying attention to that money, to be honest. I was just too focused on just setting my life straight. Like I said, I plan, and I kind of make it comfortable. So it's when I say planning and make myself comfortable, I mean if I have the goal of getting a fucking mansion in the forest or something, and that cost me like 5 million, then I'll plan to actually get that 5 million and be able to buy that property and have it. That's what I mean by making myself comfortable, like planning on like different shit like that. And then they try to come at you with like so much stupid ass shit. Like like yeah, I think like these people are like children, like they're like crybabies, and like they crying that simply because the hatred, like the jealousy that they have, and they can't get what they want from the fucking public or like even the law itself, that they just keep on crying nonstop for like a full fucking 3 years, like crying, crying, and crying and crying. And all this time, like all I'm doing is just like talking, writing, and just like talking and writing, just like showing you that I'm doing absolutely nothing. I'm still getting more done than you. I'm just like I'm not even at 1% on my power level right now. Like I'm still like asleep. I'm still like asleep on you. I'm just like you just like doing all this activity, wasting all these resources, like wasting all these lives and like all that shit. Only to find out that I'm just toying with you. I'm just like I'm not even trying. Yeah, you gotta think about it. Like why would I go from like having a job while on vacation to like even stopping and just like doing absolutely nothing, playing video games or like eating, sleeping, and doing absolutely nothing, because you think about it. If the VA paid me, what do you think they wanted me to do? Nothing, just like that. So I kind of like threw that in their face, like in a quiet way, and they still couldn't catch it. Like I'm actually living the life, like they actually wanted me to just like do absolutely nothing, and just be like a mushroom or something that grows in the dark and just like depend on the government. So then I kind of like threw that in the face in a quiet way, and I kind of threw like a lot of fucking like a lot of black stuff in their face, and they hated that. They kept on complaining about it. Then I even like I love to like criticize them or whatever. Like it's so easy to like get them excited into this shit because they're so egotistical that they're invading your one-on-one conversation, like different things, and like listening on your phone and just like getting caught up in their own emotion and like trying to judge you and other shit. And it's like they don't realize that all this time that my conversations and like even me recording myself in this hotel room is all shit that's supposed to be private, and you're not supposed to even like that's the type of shit I'm saying. Like they're breaking the law to like even like spy on me and just like constantly try to look for any little tiny detail for like any little thing they can find their little hands in, like at the same time forcing a reaction from me that might actually be more dangerous to the other individuals around me. Like them driving around and like cranking their engine with the intent to like turn me into like a high blood pressure individual, or whatever the fuck they try to mix into the oxygen or like whatever to like try to give you a heart attack or even make you mad even more, so that you can sound like irritated and like you're a danger to society, so that they could claim that we should like take him out or something and bring him to like a mental ward. And, like every time I think about it, like it gets me that those people even try to use the compensation that I get to even try to argue that I'm stealing from the public. That's the crazy fucking part about it, is that they try to say I'm stealing from the public, while in reality I never even asked for this shit. Like that is something that was given to me as extra, like as a bonus, simply because the people in charge of their own investigation for the medical record were like professionals, and they noticed the difference into like they noticed that something was not right, and combined with like all the other shit. So that is actually legitimate. And that's the crazy part about it, is that my shit is my compensation is like legitimate, and they still try to come after that and try to claim like all sorts of dumb shit in relation to like me being a fraud, me stealing from the system, when like I never went to the system and begged for money. The system was the one that volunteered to compensate me. I didn't go to the VA to like beg for like compensation. I got that was something that was given to me so in a quiet way to certain medical diagnosis and other things. And all this time, like I never really mentioned money. I never mentioned my bad financial situation or anything like that. Like So I actually came off legit, and like just to see that those people tried to turn my legitimate movement into like a fraud case, in which they came in touch because the case is so legit that it was so legit that they tried to exploit the medical condition that I had, and then tried to say that I'm an infant or something. Like the thing that they miss is that because of certain things that you're trained to be hardwired within you for certain things that you react into things in a certain way and have a different mindset, so that kind of like takes away from your concentration on many of the different things. So overall, I didn't even look at that because it's kind of like an embarrassing chapter for me. I don't really talk about certain things like that because of how private it is, and those people went to the medical file to publicly share it with, to purposely share it with the public with a heavy intent to slander my name. And as they were doing that, they didn't do their research. They were not experts into the how the VA work, or how the compensation work. Why did I get it in the first place? What's the expertise behind that? Who gave it to me? And even things like how the money is spent. Are there any rules or regulation about that? If it's tax free or all that garbage. Just to make sure that they know exactly what they were tackling on, and they were subject matter experts. In reality, they weren't, and they were just going off according to assumptions. So you know what that looks like, right? It looks like the same assumptions that was made in relation to Trump not being even tried for certain things in court. So that tells you about the accuracy and the prediction of some of these individuals, some of the false claims that they make simply because they're not really expert into the medical field or into certain systems, and simply because they see certain things, but they don't know how it works. Even the dumbass shit about being cheating my taxes. That was the dumbest. They tried to get me on the same shit they tried to get Trump on, which was the tax. In Trump's case, that was his real promises that he used to make that money or whatever. Nothing. He wasn't getting in my case. I'm legally, the shit that I do is legal, and there's no rules being broken when I say that I make a certain amount of income, as long as I include it and I tell it to the bank and I show proof of it, then the bank believes me, and and then they make the deal to provide me with a loan, or provide me with insurance and so forth. While on the other side, the tax side, some of my income is not taxable, which may not fall under a certain tax bracket. So it's kind of shit like that. Where I tried to tell them that just I'm being compensated for something, and I'm not really milking the system, and they just don't understand that shit. But yet still, to them, it looks like I'm milking the system, simply because I'm living in a different timeline than them, and I've been exposed to different cultures and different things, and They probably even see me spending money on hotel a way of stealing from the public or some shit like that. And it's that that shit the thing that I get is it's no different than from work insurance, where somebody get injured and they get compensated for an employee for certain things in relation to the trauma or other things that they went through, or whatever that the court allows them to obtain, or the contract. So again, like I said, this entire thing looks nothing more than the government, or certain individuals within the government trying to purposely abuse it to try to bring me into trouble or whatever, and try to ruin my life in the process. At the same time, it also look like I'm trying, the government is trying to, the U.S. Navy is trying to rob me from my own compensation and the promise, according to the contract or whatever. And the weird shit, like I said, I never even asked for that money, so it just came to me. So at the same time, those people are acting they never have control of the valve, or even my number to contact me in relation to how some of the things, negotiate some of the things, or whatever. The reason why they can't do that, why? I'm legitimate. So this entire time, I've been ignoring those people for that. And proceed on with my life until I realized that they were too deep into it. So I decided to just throw that strike into their face and do what I was originally could have done as soon as I got that benefit, which is absolutely nothing. Instead of going to work into multiple jobs and still trying to push through something, and then making it up to the ideology, or open up a business tied to robotics and different things. And I wanted to see the government, because of the people I work with at work, and they gossip, ruin my fucking time in Tijuana, because some shit that they were not supposed to talk about while they were like sneaking into my comments and like different things was making it back to that region. So now I was catching the different feelings over there from certain individuals connected to the people I work with, because within the region they hire individuals that work in those bars and like many other different things. So like this entire time, like the white people were just like relaying my information after like hacking it to like the system or like the contractors, and like then like to like Google Analytics and like different things, and just like relaying it into the classroom, which in turn spilled over into the region and like the local streets and like other things, simply because there's like no integrity or professionalism within a system like this, where like powerful weapons are actually used, and especially one was used indiscriminately against me. And the process what followed was like a whole set of like different accusations. Like that shit should have just stopped with that investigation, and not even escalate into like so many different other investigation, or even a bias, or even like reading the guy's opinion and then like sharing it and just like creating a fucking forums around it, and creating inside and like making it a culture, and just like making it trend, and then proceeded on to like steal my information and data, my ideas, and just as I'm continuous like trying to build my own business, those people are inside my fucking system, robbing me of my information, my data, like even like some of the prototype, like all sorts of shit that I'm into, and like taking that information, like using them for themselves as I'm doing this shit. All while label me as a fucking dog, and like try to like euthanize me in the process, like all sorts of shit. And then they're still trying to talk about fucking justice, like that is ridiculous. At this rate, like I said, like I just keep on talking, like doing nothing, and like I still get things done, and like overall, like I turn those W's into I take those L's into turn them into W's. It's that easy. Just like you just need to keep on planning, and just like eventually you just plan, and just like you build your stuff, and that is it. Like the plan is just a bonus. There's nothing wrong with being comfortable. You want to be comfortable, you got the money, you got millions, you want to buy yourself a house, a mansion. There's your comfort. Like those people are acting like I'll go to the fucking government and I ask for fucking training wheels or like a wheelchair or some shit like that, and like I'm going to the VA pretending to be fucking weak or such a shit like that, and just like begging for welfare just so I could like go to the store, like sustain myself like the white children do. In my case, it's kind of different. If I wanted to milk the system, the minute I got 100%, I would never even bother to even work. I would have done what I'm doing right now, which is absolutely nothing, and do what the VA actually wanted me to do, which is be dependable on the VA and like do absolutely nothing, and just like sustain myself at my pace. And all that shit is just embarrassing for me, because the lame ass people that jump onto my track and try to like drag me down to their level, and like cornered up my fucking story, because like they bring out little shit that I don't even look at. While I look at other big things, they bring on little shit like shit tied to my finances, and to try to say that I'm flooding the system, I'm not paying my tax, I'm a fucking rapist, like all that garbage. Yeah, I'm surprised that they're even allowed to do that within the system, just simply because of a fucking comment. Like what I do when I see a comment I don't like? I ignore that shit. I just walk past it, and that's it. The only reason why you ever hear me reply back to like even like shit like the shit that they post on like a billion times, nigger. Like the only time you ever hear me reply to this garbage, if I want to troll back the people, I'll turn a response for them by just showing that I'm fucking stupid, and that kind of like baits them with the higher IQ attitude or whatever. So like those people, it's just like they should just stop. Like like I keep on telling them that they're not even a worthy challenge. Or I got bigger shit to worry about. And little by little, they keep on tugging my fucking shirt, and every time I have to like try to give them attention while I'm trying to like do other things. And they keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. It's like every time I keep on telling them back off. I gave them 2 full fucking years to live this line, and look at what happened. 2 full fucking years. Look at what happened. Now I have to go back to the U.S. and fucking sue the individuals involved into this garbage for leaking out my personal information on purpose. And because I want to hear what was the intent behind that stupid strategy. How many of the dumb things that they came after me for, as if I was their fucking son, or like one of their sailors or some shit like that. And I don't want to hear that it was based off jealousy that, because of their children that's not enlisted in the military and they have to work, they have to go to university, and that, they don't have what I have, and that, like, I don't want to hear that shit, because I've been to it myself where, like, I worked at UPS, and then, I decided to, like, climb up for a higher pay, and just one day I just decided to, sign up to wear a fucking dog tag and be exposed to, like, increase my chances of fucking be, go to all that fucking madness that they had or they did, and then come out of it, and then, like, proceed on into a different career. And that shit, like, I went to school for, like, for years and other shit like that. And today, like, you don't hear me complain about other people on the taxis. You don't hear me complain about, like, me being jealous of, like, this system or that. It's just like I said, like, I walk and, I walk the talk. And, like, I feel for some of them simply because of the connection, or, like, I understand that, certain things in which they have to do. But, like, to be compared to, like, their children, especially, like, those people from, like, the middle class and upper class system within that naval base, it's just, like, it's pretty ridiculous, because, I never really had my mother or father even buy me a car or pay for my fucking tuition, or even, like, send me to school. Like, I had to do all that shit on my own. I even found out that this kind of shit even exists, like, and that's coming from a fucking high school dropout, so that's pretty crazy about it, you know. So overall, like I said, I don't really care about those people, or any of the feelings or anything like that. I don't even know them. They just came out of nowhere with the hate because it was a trend, and they don't even know the full story. Then that's the corny thing about it. Is like, you're not even an expert matter into the subject. Now you gotta look for fucking ways to, like, sabotage this fucking story just so you could feel right about yourself. At the same time, like, that shit is just so fucking lame and corny. Like, like, I try to get away from those people, but they calling out my story so badly that, I had to take a break and do absolutely nothing in their face, and just, like, still prove that I'm still getting shit done, you know. And while I'm doing that, like, at the same time, like, imagine if I was doing too much, and, like, those people were, like, following me around and, like, giving off my location, and, like, trying to set me up at the same time while they're pushing me to do things for them. Like, that's pretty fucked up. I'm glad that I have instincts. Overall, I have fun with some of the people they send to my hotel rooms, because, they're like, like, they're, like, very special. So it's like, I think they're like a church group or something like that. Like, the church, the NGOs kind of, like, follow me around, because of, like, dumb shit. Like, just imagine, like, where these people could have been right now if that resource was used elsewhere. Like, what they could have been doing instead of just, like, following around with a guy that they assume could be a danger to people, or while they're killing other people and, like, causing fucking mass shooting, all that garbage. Then they want to stay mad because, they can't reach me with the law unless they break it. So now that, they got their own little club of haters who just, like, praying for the day that I fall or some shit like that. It's even fucking weirder, because, I already made the commitment that I would not go back to my old life, and, like, I was on my way to, like, even be in the woods or some shit, or in the war zone. And to see those people, like, came out, just, like, feel this sense of, like, right, they're right because of, of the justice system or whatever, like, the karma that they were trying to throw at me, but at the same time it never reached. Like, to see, like, after, like, I was plans to, like, just disappear into a war zone, or even, like the woods or some shit like that, to live alone or something. Like, those people still came after me to try to, like, show me that, they were right or something. It's just like, I'm already on my way over there. Like, you're telling me to go over there while I'm going over there, and just, like, that's pretty retarded. That's just, like, your ego that you try to feed into it, and then you go around the news, like, all that shit, as if, like, I give a fuck about what you're saying. I'm looking at other shit. Like I said, once you have an idea in your head, like, it's profitable, like, that's all you hang on to, and that's all that's on your mind. So it's like, I'm looking at this diamond, or while there's, like, a fucking gremlin or a fucking kid tugging on my shirt, requesting my attention. And, I have to, like, take care of the child, like, pamper his cheek and, like, whatever, and, like, treat it like a child, and just, like, ignore it, that kid, no matter the sex or whatever, because, the white kid is not mine. It's not a black kid tugging on my shirt. As a matter of fact, the black kid's probably tapping me on my back, telling me go ahead and aim for that diamond or whatever. So like I said, I got other shit to worry about, things to do. Like I don't even bother with the internet talk or none of that crap. Like, it could be on Fox News, they could be on CNN, they could be on fucking Rion, they could be on First Post, they could be on like fucking Lady Bull's channel, they could be on the Young Turk Hasanabi, like all that garbage, like all the other shows that I watch, like they could be all over that, but that's just that, they just be over that and that's it. Overall, like it's kind of tough to be in the position that I'm in because the feds kind of like try to block you off from like regular work, like they try to sabotage you in the process in the physical world. But at the same time, because they're constantly on you, so like any little thing that you do that actually breaks the law or might be suspicious, they'll try to come after it. So like if I'm like smoking weed in a nation where like it's illegal to do so, the U.S. Navy itself will try to contact the local law enforcement and try to snitch on me in the process. That's how like fucked up that these people like that's how retarded they are. Overall, like I don't even look at like some of the hard work and effort, like all that garbage that they try to push after like the boomer generation, what they did or whatever. Like I just keep in mind like my schedule, my contracts, and my skill. So like I'm like contractual. So like I work in according like the time off that I want to take and like the work that I want to put in, and then like just like create a schedule for myself and like So if I wanted to make 75 grand, then I have a plan for that. I actually go out and get it instead of just like sticking up to like one job where like I work for like $20,000 a year just to build up a 401k or just like whatever that I want to see. And there's like random. I don't want to say random, but like in those that life that's not guaranteed to you. So I rather work in like the contract environment where like I make a certain amount of money, I save up, and I am able to like take a break and then work on certain projects outside of work that will like kind of like maybe boost my income or my value because of the idea in which I'm trying to put in practice into the market and like different things. So that's kind of like more flexible for me, and that allows me to just like exploit 9 to 5 and also like based off contracts, and then like seek out the real free environment where like just for creating creating a market or even selling things kind of like urging extra into the society. So now you're able to navigate and go wherever you want to do whatever you want with your life. You're kind of free because you create your own system that that feeds you. No, I try to enjoy this moment as much as I can because you never know when will be the last time. Like like I said, like I've seen so many cities get destroyed overnight to like instantly. Like I try to enjoy that moment, just that picture itself, just that feeling, that instant. That's always my focus in life. Like anything else that's like in the past or not even close to me, like I don't think about it. That's how it was supposed to be until like those people would like get on Fox News and all that garbage, just like cry in my face, like like I give a fuck about like racist ass tears and shit like that. And I love it when they try to like rely on their black friends and like other friends like that are not white to like try to take cover behind them and try to use them. It's just like I could see the rapist, I could see you. So, it doesn't even matter like who you try to hide behind. Like, I always see you for what you are, like the devil, the rapist. Swapping faces or like different group of individuals. Like, I already know what's going on. I know who's who. I already know that, certain groups like come in all different races and faces and sexes, but they always be tied towards the same common goal, tied to their missions or whatever. So like, you're very easy to see through. This entire time, like the basic shit that's been in front of you all this time that you ignore simply because you think it's a fantasy, like the religious texts and stuff like that. are all being applied in real life. That's the crazy part about it. Like, you know, it's being attached to a world plot. And at the end of the day, it's always about humanity seeking God, and that is the crazy shit about it. It's like, you know, or seeking the divine, that, you know, because of certain things they can't control in their lives, and it's pretty crazy. Again, I have no interest into what the Navy want. I don't want to care for it. Like I said, if a nuke were to hit that place, I wouldn't feel nothing, absolutely nothing. You know, like, put yourself in my shoes where, like, you have a regular day out of nowhere, the system kind of like breaks into your fucking privacy simply because it thinks, because of the old man instincts and like the stupid ass thoughts that, you know, whoever it was that saw me and tried to like think that, you know, I'm milking the system. Let's think like one day, just because somebody think you're milking the system, that they break into your privacy and they try to throw you into prison, like ruin your life overall. And as they're doing that, they're not finding nothing. Like, they found out that the case is actually legit and there's no fraud being happening. But then they jump to like the next shit. Like, you know, you're going out to get your dick sucked. Now they're mad at that. They try to come after you for that, and then they get mad at you for, like, you know,